So these are the two handguns that I have that are part of like the Polymer family. I got the M&P 45 and the XD40. It's one of the earlier XDs before the M came out. And the reason I'm shooting this video is because I have experienced an issue with the M&P 45, whereupon inserting the magazine with moderate force, the slide will drop and chamber around. And I think that's kind of an issue for me. And basically you got two camps, the people that think it's a feature and the others that think it's a defect. And I'm kind of in the defect camp, mainly for two reasons. The first and foremost, I want to be able to control all of the actions of my gun manually. I don't want something done automatic, especially chambering around and in essence also cocking and making the gun ready to fire. I want to be in complete control of that. Number two, it doesn't do it consistently. So sometimes it won't drop, other times it will drop, and it really throws me off when I'm doing that, when the slide drops down.
The tibia band, it goes all the way down and starts to the motor portion of the outside of the leg, and that nerve root that controls that muscle also comes from the low back. So you have to take a look, and you're very correct in that you have to look at the mechanical low back to make sure that the nerve roots are freed up, so those muscles that surround these joint spaces, particularly after the break, are mechanically normal. Otherwise, they're not, and they continue having pain as you're trying to. Because physical therapy is just muscles, and the dry needling is not the same as acupuncture. It does localize. It's sensor stimulation to the upper thresholds of the brain to so there's not as much compression on that lower portion.
You'll receive a free vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call Heritage for the Blind. Call 1-800-895-8045. Donating is easy, and your quota will be free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher for donating. Call now 1-800-895.
So for the breakdown, coffee is highly inflammatory. If you're acidic, what you're doing is you're destroying the joint. You're breaking it down. So that's you can't get any resolution. I would not, if I was in your position, which obviously there's been problems over the years, I would not do that until you make some other changes. Support yourself. There's so much that you can get done. This Wednesday evening, September the 11th, 7:30 p.m. will be your host, your presenter, on herniated low back disc. So if you've been diagnosed, if you've had surgeries, and you're like our last caller where they want to implant a pump to continue medication.
I have contacted Smith & Wesson, and I kind of want to just show the overall process and see how they respond, and just, you know, if anybody's interested, they can see. So basically, I sent them an email explaining the situation. They responded with inquiry into the information about the gun and some shipping information. They're going to ship me a free label, and they said they'll take a look at it. The only caveat with that is that it has a disclaimer at the bottom basically saying that if they don't find an issue with it, then they will charge me a fee for both the shipping to the factory and returning it back to me. So they never really acknowledged that it was an issue, but they have said that they will take a look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you all a little kind of demonstration. This M&P, these are live rounds. You know, you don't pull the trigger, the round's not going to go off. So it's fully engaged. You see that? Drop it down. I mean, that's just, I'm even at a weird angle. I'm putting that in, it's dropping around in there. So, you know, that's an issue for me. On the other hand, we have the, just to show that it's unloaded. On the other hand, I have the XD, and this was actually only with 3 rounds in there that it's doing this. So it's not even a full mag that it's doing it. This XD, as you can see, it's got 12 rounds in it, so it would even be more mass going up, hitting towards the top of the gun. So you would think that if all guns did this, or all guns of this type, the Polymer design, did this, then it would be more likely with a full mag than only a 3-round mag. So, okay, so I hit that pretty hard. I mean, that's considerable force right there. With the angle to the camera, I can't really do it much harder. Now, if I leave it in like that and do a secondary hit, it'll drop. Okay, but that's, I mean, you gotta have some type of limit there. So, to the amount of force that you're gonna throw into that magazine. I guess this design, it's inherent to, if you slap the bottom, it's gonna drop. It's just part of the reality, part of the physics of the weapon and how it's set up. But for it, this M&P 2 rounds now, just 2 rounds. I mean, it's entirely too easy, entirely too easy. So I'm gonna send it back, and we're gonna see what they say, see if they have an issue with fixing it or not, and I'll let you know how it turns out. We'll see if they actually, when I send it in, they decide whether or not it's a manufacturing issue. Basically, I've emailed them and told them the issue, and this is specifically what I put in the email. This is all I put. I sent it to their customer service through their website. I got the email address. I purchased an M&P 45 and had continual issues with the slide dropping and chambering around when a loaded magazine is inserted into the mag well with moderate force. I would like to send the gun in for repair. Please let me know how to facilitate this. So I sent that in, and within a day, they responded back to me saying that they received my initial email, and then 3 days later they responded back to me and said that they gave me a ticket number and told me to fill out a bit of information about my address, so they sent me a prepaid shipping label. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to send the gun out. I'm going to see what they say about the slide drop issue, and if they decide to fix it or they decide to charge me for the shipping and send it back saying that there's nothing wrong with it, I'll let you know, and then I will do an additional demonstration, insert in the magazine, and see if the slide catch actually holds instead of drops and chambering a load. So I'll let you know how that turns out. So this is it. About to mail my M&P 45 back to Smith & Wesson, and it took a little while for them to get me the packing label. I was a little perturbed, I guess, at that. I originally emailed them on September 17th, and although they did respond to me relatively quickly, I didn't receive a packing label for quite some time, and then finally on October 10th I re-emailed their service center, and within 2 days about, they sent me this packing label. So I'm finally going to send it back to see if they really consider the slide drop an actual issue. There is one convenient thing I'd like to point out, that as part of the return policy or warranty policy, they actually provide both the shipping to me and back. I think return shipping, I'm not 100% on that. But as part of shipping this out, they actually gave me a preferred customer account number that I could schedule a pickup for my door, which makes it really convenient, because otherwise you have to find a specific service center in order to ship a firearm and a bunch of other crap. So that was kind of nice. So I do appreciate that. But this is just an update, sending it out. We'll see what they say. Alright, so I got my Smith & Wesson back from the factory. So when I got it back, I did take it out and shoot a couple times, and it worked well. Actually, a lot better than it did. Before I sent it in, you didn't have to really put the magazine in the magazine well with any type of authority, and it would just shut. It was really, really loose, and we got full mag here, 10 rounds. I mean, that before I sent it in would have definitely shut it. So it's definitely an improvement, and basically sent this explanation back of what they did. They adjusted the slide stop to gauge, so I guess they have some type of spec on the tension of the spring that holds this into place or pushes it up. But by the fact that they said that they fixed something, I guess they admit that that was an issue. So they did fix it. It's doing a lot better. I did notice that it still will drop if you really go after it. But I think, you know, what are you going to be able to do with that? It's just how the gun is. So I don't think that can be fixed anymore. I won't be able to drop the slab with the slab release. It'll be too tight to be able to drop, which I did notice too shooting it, that when inserting the mag and trying to use this to release the slide, use actually the release to drop it, it was much tougher than before. So that was relatively tough. So compared to what it was before. So it's I'm pretty happy with what it, you know, the resolution of the whole issue. I contacted them. The only issue I had, I guess, mainly with trying to get it fixed was them to initially get back to me. But once I emailed them a second time, which is not that big of a deal, they got back to me and set up it to actually get picked up from my house. So it's pretty nice, and got it back. So I'm really happy with the gun. I might be a convert. I used to be an XD guy, but the more I shoot this, the more I like it. I just kind of wish I had it in the 9, I guess, because then I can afford to shoot it more. 45 is pretty rough. But yeah, that's about it. So if you're wondering if your slide stop is not acting like you think it should, then send it back. They'll definitely fix it free of charge, paid for shipping. Very happy with the service. So thanks, Smith & Wesson. I'm definitely gonna enjoy shooting this gun.
Together we'll go far. Wells Fargo Bank and A member. Memo and claim based on latest dairy government data.